He raped me 2 times violently. I was fighting for my life in the hospital. He abandoned me with injections and me having to be nurturing a child, and he was going with his girlfriend around town. In fact, he sabotaged a job I got on a platter of gold. He told me to my face, I will not allow you to walk. I was getting my older son ready for nursery. And then he looked at me, he said, Mommy, you're tired. Take me, you, Simon. Let's run away. Let's leave Daddy alone. And I was like, I can't afford to leave these children with this monster. Every 2 hours I'm awake. I couldn't sleep. I'm always afraid. Even when he's not at home, I was even depressed at some point. And I remember there was a time I was actually suicidal. A week before I finally left, I had gotten to my wit's end. I was tired. And I was like, God, I know you've shown me many signs to leave. Please give me one more sign. That morning, I was getting my older son ready for nursery. And then he looked at me, he said, Mommy, you're tired. Take me, you, Simon. Let's run away. Let's leave Daddy alone. That was all I needed. This boy was barely 4 years. I said, okay, but please don't shout, because he was in the other room sleeping. As soon as I dropped him off in school, I called the domestic helpline. They gave me the location to go. And in fact, this time it was so dramatic. I remembered how, after they've given me the location, I obviously wanted to pack things. I couldn't pack so much things for myself, but I made sure to pack things for the children and the food they would eat at least for the first 1 to 2 weeks. So I had about, I think 3 bags. However, my plan was to first take them somewhere a day before I was going to go, so that it would look like I'm taking the boy to school. So it was a Sunday. I had called a friend then. I said, I had asked if I could come and drop my bags with her. She was like, oh, it's fine. So that Sunday, he had come back from his night shift, which is very unusual. He wouldn't come home straight. Okay, he came home. And then when he's sleeping, a little tap is awake. But that day, with all the banging on the stairs of the box and the bag with, I think there was something like a pan inside. Okay, the ones I used to carry some food stuff. It was making noise. This guy did not wake up. I knew that was God. And I remembered going to my neighbor downstairs, asking for help. The husband, I opened up to them. I want to run for my life. The husband came upstairs, helped me to carry the box. I booked a cab. I took the boys, left the boys with them, ran, dropped the bags, and came back and acted like nothing happened. And I sat down. A few minutes after, 3 people came in, 2 elderly women and a man. One of them had opened up to them in 2016 about what was happening. And they kept telling me they would do something, they would do something, they would do something.
They came into where? Into the house?
To the house. He had gone to report me to them, because at that time, I had understood that ordinary good morning was me looking for trouble. So I stopped greeting, I stopped everything. All the gifts was buying, I was not taking it. I literally was breaking off emotionally, detaching. I don't want any connection. So he had seen that I had made up my mind that there was nothing. So he went to lie to them that, oh, he has begged me and that I don't want to forgive him. So those ones are coming, although they know partly, so they were not really following. But again, they still want to make sure the marriage can work. So they came. And when they came, the same rule that applied to him of me not greeting him applied to them. They were like, Sister Ruth, good evening. I was looking, because at that point, I don't want anything to remove me from my focus. But at some point, I answered them. But it didn't change my plan, because my bags were out already.
But you didn't know your bags were out?
No, nobody knew.
Right. And where are your kids at this time?
We were already back together. Right. Yeah, so he didn't suspect anything. Right. So I decided to answer them. I was like, well, I was raised well. Don't let me be rude to them because of this person. I decided to sit down. They were asking me questions. I was like, unfortunately, I'm not interested. And I'm not sure I'm even interested in what you are here for. But I'm going to give you 5 instances of the reason why I'm not talking to him. Then when you are done hearing, be the judge. So I started. I said, okay, did he mention to you how my mother was sick for months and the only amount he owed her was 30,000 naira, even though I wanted to go and work? But he refused to allow me work. In fact, he sabotaged a job I got on a platter of gold. He told me to my face, I will not allow you to work. One of the men was like, oh, really? Did he do that? I said, you've not heard anything, ma. Calm down. I said, okay, did he mention the fact that I'm the only child of my mom, and when she died, I could not go and bury her. I had to beg someone to give me money to buy a casket because he refused to drop the money. They were like, he didn't tell us this one. I said, okay. There's still more, ma. I said, he didn't mention how I was fighting for my life in the hospital because I had just given birth. I got home and my body started reacting because membranes was left inside of me, and I had to be rushed back to the hospital. He was the one that rushed me. He was doing all lovey-dovey. As usual, outside is the best man you can ever get. So I was like, did he tell you how he abandoned me with injections and me having to be nurturing a child, and he was going with his girlfriend around town? They were like, Sister Ruth. At this point, one of them was already crying. I said, no, ma, you cannot cry yet, ma. I said, no, ma, hold on. You've not heard. I said, did he tell you how he beat me for 6 hours? At that point, they said, don't talk again. I said, oh, are you sure? I would like to talk. Oh. They were like, no, don't talk. The two women and the men were crying. And at that point, they were like, no. They're like, Sister Ruth, let's pray. And the only thing they were saying was, Father, heal your daughter. Surround her with your love. And as soon as we don't pray, they carried their bag and started going.
Did he even talk to him?
No way. So he was running down from the room upstairs. Are you going? Are you going? We are going. We are going. Sorry, we cannot do anything about this. And I loved what they did, because if they had, after hearing that, they were like, I would have walked out on them. So they left. And then the following day, which was a Monday, it was home again in the morning. I acted like I was taking my older son to school. And that was how I ran away. So in the night, he now started calling. I didn't pick. And then I took his laptop. Or no, I didn't take his laptop. But he was calling me. I didn't pick. At some point, I switched off my phone. I was later told to change my phone and SIM for my safety, which I did. As at that time, we were already in court. Before I left the house, I had taken him to court.
But he didn't know.
He had known, because they had to serve him. So by that time, but it was not yet serious. He was still thinking it's a play game, because, again, I came unawares to him. You know, the old Ruth in him was a very naive Ruth, ignorant, does not know the law, does not know what can work for her.
I was also in a system where,
you know, it's different. I'm not used to it. So it still comes to that mindset. So he felt that cut, I will soon drop it off. So unknown to him that I had gone through the legal system, I've applied for legal aid, I had gotten it, and my lawyer they were really supportive. So
where were you when you left the house? Where did you go to?
Refuge. So that refuge is just a normal house, but we don't use the normal address. It's a PO box that is used for safety's sake anyways. So we got to the refuge, and that night was the first night I slept. I didn't even know I slept straight for 6 hours until I woke up, because I remember going to bed around 11 and I woke up around 5. I was like, wow, I felt different. I felt at peace. Nothing was waking me. I was not looking anywhere. I was like, it's been a long time I felt this peace.